Fellow tennis nerds, I hope you are well. If you are a Tennis Nerd member on Patreon or YouTube or a newsletter subscriber, you might already know some of this, thanks to you who do that. We have a few new racket observations on the Pro Tour. Counterintuitively, not everyone is looking for more power. Casper Ruud has actually gone down in power level a little bit from his Yonex DR100 Plus, a very powerful racket which he controlled by adding loads of net clearance, by hitting with loads of topspin. But if he wants to have more confidence, to be able to attack the ball more, maybe go for smaller targets, it makes sense to go to the DR98 Plus, so going down 2 square inches in head size, bit more control, bit more confidence, a faster swing as well. So pretty sensible change in my opinion, looking at where the tour is. He said also that he has adjusted his specifications like weight and balance.
Can you give us some insight into that? Because it looked like it was working well for you today.
Yeah, not the biggest change, just a few adjustments, frame size, head sizes, and balance, weight. You can do a lot of tweaks and things here and there, so it's still the same frame, just a bit of a smaller head size, and yeah, it was working well today, so maybe I need to keep it going.
For his new rackets as well, but I'm unaware of his current specs, so if you know, please comment below or reach out to Tennis Nerd Insta. Thanks to everyone who reach out with their observations. Tennis Nerd Insta on Instagram. Alexander Zverev, as you might have read on tennisnerd.net, has been testing a new racket. Is it a Gravity Tour 98? It does look a bit like that, but I've heard some sources from Head that it could be a new racket coming out next year. So some question marks there. It's an 1820 pattern, but it does not look like the Gravity Tour 100, which he was using for a while, or his regular Gravity Pro. So something new. What is he trying to find? Could it be more power? Could it be more control? He wants to swing it faster. He wants more aerodynamic properties. Let me know your thoughts in the comments on what Alex Zverev needs to take his game to the next level. I mean, the racket can only do so much, but he's definitely searching for something, as are so many players on the ATP Tour right now. Like, for example, Holger Rune, who has been testing a bunch of rackets. His contract with Babola is expiring, so he's probably checking if there's anything exciting that he could switch to, maybe get more money. He has been testing the Head Extreme MP in Spain, when he played the Davis Cup tie against Spain. He played for Denmark, of course, and he did not use it for the matches as far as I'm aware. He actually ended up disliking this frame and going back to his Aero 98. They still lost a tie, very, very narrow loss there, 3-2 to Spain. I'm sure we will see Holger testing more during the off-season, pre-season, which we are heading to pretty soon. Talking about arrows, it's the thing that is moving all around the tour. Chris Eubanks, we've seen him test some different blackout frames. One is the Arrow, that's the latest spot I've seen him play with. Still looking to get back into the top 100, trying to find his form. We'll see, we'll keep our eyes peeled. But another player testing the Arrow, also Patrick Gibson from the US, is now with an Arrow. X-Blade user, still using the Wilson butt cap though, and that gets me back to that discussion of how important the grip is, like the grip shape and the hand feel, end cap in this case. So really important to have the right grip, to feel familiar with the grip as you are switching grips in between the shots and so on. So here is a pretty evident Wilson butt cap on his Arrow. So we'll see if he stays with that or not. Lots of questions around arrows and that Wilson spin racket. And another question is whether Dino Prismic, the next gen star, is gonna use that one or the Aero 98. What do you think this is in the picture? I got more into his overgrip situation, which is plentiful. He has a bunch of overgrips here. Look at the tape, look at the thickness of his grip. Another sign of showing how important the grip is, and he likes it round apparently. It must be very rounded. The more overgrips you add to your racket, the rounder it gets. I add 2 on my rackets. I have an L2 and then I add 2 grips because I like a little bit of a rounded feel, a bit more dampening in the grip. But we're all different. Some people like a leather grip, which really makes you feel the bevels 100%. So it all depends on you. It's a very personal decision. And in Prismic's case, we have not seen many players use as many overgrips or as many overgrip tapes as he has here. So this was pretty funny, I think. Before, I've talked about the swing weights going down on the ATP Tour. I've looked at some data that I have in my computer, and it's still averaging in the top 100 around 335 strong. So that's 335 strong, which for most recreational players, I would say 95% of club players, even up to quite advanced level, is too much. Most retail rackets today sell at around 320 strong. And I'm talking strong swing weights because it's a bit easier to imagine that in your head, and that's really what you're swinging. Most players use 125 polys among club players, while on the tour you still see a lot of thicker polys, 130, because they break strings much faster, put a lot more strain on the strings, need a bit more durability. So 130 mostly on the ATP Tour, 125 mostly among club players, but also some 120s as well. So in my recent member video, I ranted about buying retail frames, and I ranted about this quite a few times. Some things are repeat on Tennis Nerd, but it deserves repeating in this case, that if you get like a retail model that is averaging above 330 swing weight, it's very tricky for most recreational players to swing it over a match of 2 hours. And if you get another one and that's like 342, because it has a higher swing weight and it's still within the quality control parameters, which are quite generous for the manufacturers, then it's very, very different from your original racket, and that's not a good situation. So I think it's much better if they sell rackets with 315 strong to 325 max, because then you can customize upwards, because reducing swing weight, as you know, is not easy. You need to start carving off stuff on the plastic like bublik, or reducing your string gauge, which is not everyone's cup of tea, because that changes the whole playing experience. The string is super important in the racket. So swing weight, very important. If you can check your swing weight, I really suggest you do so. I suggest you try to match your rackets. I used the Meteor Tune. I brought it on my trip to Greece in the Davis Cup experience that I had a week or two ago, and it was brilliant. It really could measure all the players' rackets and customize. Great tool. Also comes with software which kind of auto calculates for matching and for customization. So this software and this machine is top notch, and also actually comes in a travel case. So for me, it's been excellent. The budget might be high for some, so it's 3,500 at 3,000 with Tennis Nerd, so 500 euro off with using the Tennis Nerd code. But you can get a graffiti as well, which is like 300, and then you have a swing weight measurement. This is what Henrik uses alongside his Bubble RDC. So definitely suggest you check your swing weight. If you don't have a machine, maybe your pro shop or a customizer or someone you know has a machine, because swing weight is, in my opinion, the most important metric. And to understand that and to get your rackets matched and so on can really help, because that's usually what I see when people buy rackets, that they're unhappy because they're different, and then you measure the rackets and you will see that the swing weight is sometimes vastly different, because the manufacturers really only guarantee the weight and the balance. It's still within like plus minus 5 or even 7 grams, which can create a whopping difference. And then swing weight can be 10 points, you know, on 2 rackets, and it's way too much. So good to keep that in mind. So I hope they try to keep a lower average of swing weight, so at least we can customize rackets when you buy 2. We're still in this situation with tennis. I think at some point we need to get into this kind of golf mindset of having a fitting and getting your rackets properly made for you, and then you can just play with those rackets. But right now we're kind of in the Wild West, where we have to buy, and you buy from different retailers, you get different specs of the same racket, and it's a little bit of a mad situation. So those are my thoughts for today. Quick update on some pro players testing new equipment. There will be more of this coming in the off season, and maybe also now during the Asian swing. Make sure to check out tennisnerd.net for these types of information, but also recommended rackets, strings, and the content such as news and predictions. That's it for today. Have a nice day, and don't forget to play some tennis.